Welcome back, everybody. I'm Giles, and today we're going to be talking about all-in-one water cooling. And specifically, we're going to take a look at this water block from EKWB. So if you're going to build a new PC, one of the first things you need to decide on is how you're going to cool it. And from my point of view, there are really three different ways, three different routes you can go down to achieve your cooling. The first, which is kind of the most old school way, is air cooling. And remember, you really need to cool your CPU. You also need to cool your video card, and then you need to have case fans. So those can all just be regular spinning fans to move air around, right? And when you buy your CPU, it'll typically come with an air cooler. All GPUs, well, most of them anyway, come with built-in air coolers. And then there's a million different kinds of fans that you can buy to push air around. If you get a little more sophisticated, you move up into what's called the all-in-one CPU cooler. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. And basically what this is a closed water loop that only cools your CPU, and it's really easy to install because you don't need to do anything. You just kind of slap it in there and it works. You don't have to bend pipes and add liquid, and you don't have to do any of that stuff. It just bolts in and works. Now, moving beyond that, you get into a full custom water loop for your PC, and that can cool just about anything that you want it to. And that'll be a topic for another video down the line, but that's kind of the pinnacle of cooling. But today, we're gonna be at that middle step, and we're gonna look at this water cooler from EKWB. Now, if you look at the product portfolio from EK, there are a bunch of different models out there, and this is the second one from the top. So there's an elite version, and then you've got what we've got here, which is the 360 D-RGB. So yes, it'll give you all those wonderful unicorn colors if you want it to. I'm gonna try and tone that down a bit in the build that I'm gonna use this in. And you know, it's a good time to call that out. So in the future, I'm gonna be building a new computer that's gonna be a kind of quasi-gaming, but really big content editing machine. I'm gonna use a Antec case. So make sure you like and subscribe so you'll be notified when that video drops, because you'll get to see this guy actually installed. But anyway, back to the cooler. So this is kind of the second tier down from the top. It's not the Ultra, it's just the D-RGB version, and this is a 360 millimeter version. Now they have kind of the 3-fan version, right? So they have the 2-fan versions as well if you want to drop down to a 240 millimeter version as well. And you know, that really depends on the case that you're going to build into. But I wanted to give these guys a try, so I picked this up. I think to get started, we'll crack this open and see what this looks like inside of the box. To get started, let's get rid of this shiny plastic so we can take a look at the box without all of the reflections. Here on the front of the box, you've got an image of the product, and you can see it's 3 fans, 360 millimeter, with an RGB CPU mount. It's the EK-AIO 360D RGB all-in-one liquid cooling system. Now, one thing to note, and one thing that I think is really important, is down here it shows that it's Intel and AMD compatible, and it lists all the different kinds of compatibilities. Well, the one thing that this is not compatible with out of the box that you'll need a special kit for is LGA 1700. And this is all of the 12th generation Intel CPU stuff. So if you don't have the newest CPU, then maybe not such a big deal, but if you do, then you absolutely need to pick this up. On Amazon, this was an extra fee. On the EKWB site, I believe it was like a penny or something to get the upgrade kit. And my assumption is that they have a bunch of these already made, and they built them before the specification was available. So instead of trying to slam this into a box or repackage these things, they're just using out their stock until they come out with a new version that includes this kind of mount. So flipping this thing around, you've got all your different language pieces, and then a depiction of, I guess, what a liquid cooling loop is. And that shows, hey, there's a fan and a radiator, a cable going to what you're going to cool, the CPU in this case, and then the flow, and it just flows in a circle, right? On the rear of the box, we've got a little more information about the cooler. So we've got the pump, the fans, information about the radiator. We have general schematics and measurements of the dimensions of the unit here. We come back up and we've got the model number yet again. Moving around to the final side of the box, here we've got Boost Your PC in Style, and we'll see how stylish it is as we install it. Clean side on this side, And then over here, a little more with different languages on specifications. And it opens up long ways, and we get to the good stuff. We have a set of instructions, and this looks like it's universal to all their different model types. And we've got all your different languages inside as well. A little bit of padding, and the good stuff. All right, let's start out with fans. 1, 2, 3. Now, one thing that I was doing, and I don't know how this is going to work out exactly, but I wanted to match this to a certain extent. So I bought these EKWB EVO D-RGBs, and I'm hoping that these are a match. All right, all of the mounting hardware for the different CPU types. And then we get to the unit itself, and this should be all one big piece. All right, we've got radiator. And it's a nice matte black finish. And it has mounts for your fans. If you look closely on the back of the CPU mount, it looks like it's got pre-applied thermal paste that's under a plastic protector. And while you're opening this, what you don't want to do is puncture this. That would be super bad. So the two connectors that you're going to have are your power and your RGB. And power here, RGB here. Like I said, pre-applied thermal compound. Some of you might want to scrape that off and use your own, which is absolutely fine to do. I'm going to leave this plastic covering on until it's time to do the installation. And then on the front, this is RGB, lights up, and there is a EK sticker that's applied there, and I don't think that's going to come off. I might be able to get it off, but I think I'm going to leave it on for now. And these do adjust, so you can spin these around a little bit so that you can get them just to your liking as you go through the installation. Looking a bit closer here at the radiator, it looks like this is a drain. It has a sticker on it that says, "Do not remove." So yeah, I'm pretty sure you take this out, all the fluid is going to run out of this thing, and you'll be super unhappy. Screws on the back of the radiator, screw holes rather, and then also on the front. So you can mount your fans to either side. And talking about fans, let's look a little bit closer at those. These unfurl, and you have your connectors. So this is a matte black plastic. This is a sticker on the center. The plastic fins are mostly translucent, and my assumption is that they could light up if you wanted them to, and they will carry the light well. Seems balance is nice. And then just like on the cooler, you've got your power and your RGB. So now let's compare the included fan with the additional box fan that you can buy, and this is the EKWB EVO D-RGB. On the front of the box, you've got a picture of the fan showing the LEDs in full effect. Little specifications on the rear, and not much else. All right, so, okay, so this is 140 millimeters. This is a little bit smaller, so 120 millimeters. I believe I called this out as 140 earlier, but it is 120. Styling is similar. If you look, this has a much larger hub than we have here, and it looks like this is where the LEDs are actually stored for the RGB light. We have the same headers that we have on the included fans. So it looks like they will mix in well. The colors are slightly different between the stickers. This is a little whiter. This is maybe creamier, not quite as bright. The plastic is close, but this plastic is not as bright. So this one is a little duller, but maybe that's to help carry the RGB. Just flip to the rear. All right, and we see that this is the Vader S. This is the Vader Evo, 120 millimeter ER, and this is 140 millimeter ER. They look even more similar on the back, although the difference between the stickers is again apparent. This one is much brighter, and this is a bit more subdued on the side. And you can continue to see the difference in the shade of the plastic of the fins. So this is what a mid-tier water cooling system looks like, the all-in-one kind of scenario where you're cooling your CPU with this type of device, and then you'll continue to air cool your GPU. I'm really excited to use this in my first build, and make sure to like and subscribe so you see those details when they drop, so you'll see exactly how to install this, how to attach fans, how to integrate this in with other components. It'll be my first time ever using EKWB, so again, even more excitement. Now in my second build of the year, I'm going to do a full custom water loop, and that's going to be crazy. So you'll want to stick around for that one too. And that's going to use components that are just being released today. They're not even available. And I'm not on a pre-list to get samples, so I'm waiting just like everybody else to get those. But it'll be in the new Lee Dynamic Evo case. It's going to have a custom distribution. It'll be super awesome. But next step for this is to get this installed in the new Antec Crystal case, and that will be coming very soon. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.